recently did a little refresh to our kitchen. This room was the only one that we didn't touch the paint color of the walls since we moved in. We painted every other room in the house except for this one. We did paint the cabinets, but the actual walls itself we hadn't painted at all, and it was this very dingy white color, and I thought it was just because they were dirty. I tried scrubbing them. Nothing would make these white walls look brighter or cleaner. It was just kind of gross in here, and I honestly didn't mind for a bit because I didn't spend that much time in the kitchen. Like, I like to bake and cook, but I was really only in the kitchen for less than an hour a day. What made me want to freshen up the kitchen was this winter when my baby started eating solids. I was in the kitchen practically all day trying to make him something for breakfast and lunch and dinner. And so far that hasn't changed because he really likes to eat. I was in the kitchen more trying to sustain him than I've ever been trying to make food for myself, because I'm trying to make him like all these homemade foods, everything from scratch. So I was in the kitchen a lot more than I would honestly like to be, and it kind of became a dungeon to me. It just didn't feel calming or relaxing. I just got some peel and stick backsplash and a fresh coat of paint and rearranged some things, and it already feels like a completely different space. And I love to be in here now. I'm no longer resentful of the kitchen. I mean, sometimes I can be when it's 10 p.m. and I forgot to load the dishwasher, but for the most part, I actually feel like this place is welcoming again and charming, and it's a place I want to be in. It's a place I want to cook. It's a place where the food I make is now gonna have love as an ingredient. And although we did stuff in this kitchen to kind of personalize it, I feel like now it finally feels like our kitchen. It's just a fun little makeover. It's not even a makeover, it's just like a little refresh. It's just like bringing new life, new energy into the room. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy this video. So I'm starting out by prepping the walls and just making sure there's no dust or dirt or cobwebs or quite a bit of spider webs and like right above where this windowsill is and towards the ceiling. So I'm just making sure everything's clean so that we can get a fresh coat of paint on. And I am painting the window trim too, so I was gonna fill in those holes. I don't know how they ended up there. It wasn't me, okay? I'm also going to rearrange a little bit. I wanted to make a coffee bar for my husband, and in order to fit the coffee machine on our little table, I had to move these shelves higher up. I know I could just like keep it like this as is, but I didn't like the look of that. I wanted the shelves above the coffee maker, and instead of just doing it on the same wall, I figured why not mix it up and just move everything to the other wall. And it actually ended up working out better. I don't know what it was, but for some reason when I moved everything to the other wall, it just made the room feel a little bit bigger. And my husband agreed too. I just don't know why. It just felt more open. So I thought for a minute about doing the shelves next to each other like that, but I also didn't like how that looked. So I went with it's basically like what I had before on the other wall, except now everything's a little bit higher and the coffee maker can fit. I don't know what it is, but my eye will catch like tiny little details that will just bug me for so long until I fix it. And these little cracks or just like tiny crevices between the cabinets and the walls were bothering me so much, and my husband didn't even notice them. And then so I decided to caulk them, and then once I did, he was like, wait, now that you've done it, I can tell that it looks so much better. And you can probably tell that this is my first time using caulk. But it ended up turning out good, and I'm really happy that I didn't skip that step. I pre-drilled all the holes for my shelving and put anchors in, which was a whole ordeal. I ended up not even using the anchors. I had to rip them out I don't want to talk about it. But I wanted to pre-do my holes so that I could paint, and if I messed up the holes drilling them afterwards, it wouldn't ruin the paint. But I ended up having to rip everything out anyway, so it was pointless in doing that. So whatever. So this is anticlimactic, but the new paint color is also white. But as you can probably tell, it's just a much brighter white. I don't even know like how to describe it. It's just like almost glowing in my opinion. And it really just brightened up the room. It was really hard painting with the shadows that my kitchen light cast on the walls, because it was tripping me up and making me think that certain parts weren't painted yet when they were. But anyway, I think I got all the spots. This peel and stick tile is from Chasing Paper. They do like wallpapers and stuff, but this is a special, it's like a vinyl material, so you could use it for a backsplash and it can get like water splashed on it, and it's not gonna be like regular wallpaper that will just absorb it. You could kind of just wipe this clean. So I was really excited to use this and install it, and I think it turned out so good. This is in the style Porto, and I really love it. It's so beautiful. It's more like a Mediterranean. I've always liked like Dutch Delft tile, and this is more like a Mediterranean style, but it's like the white and the blue is just something I really love. Which, to be honest, okay, my kitchen has a white and blue theme, and I do think I went a little overboard with the white and blue. Everything's a little bit too white and blue, but I like it. I really do. I think, though, if I move and I'm gonna do a new kitchen, I'm probably gonna just, like, loosen it up a little bit. I don't know, make it feel less monochromatic, less color schemey. But for now, I'm really liking this little white and blue theme. I will loosen up a bit, though, in the things I buy for the kitchen. When I first opened the package, I held up one of the tiles to the wall just to see what it would look like. And I lost my grip, and it fell between the gap of the counter and the wall, and it's lost like forever. Unless I have a sledgehammer and I'm gonna take down the cabinets, I can't get to that tile. So I was really annoyed about that. I was gonna tile behind the oven too, but I ended up not being able to because I needed that piece to finish it. So I wasn't able to do that. Yeah, that really bothered me, but you know what, it's my own fault, so whatever. But I did get my vengeance on the gap between the counter and the wall, and once I finished wallpapering, I put some caulking in that gap so that can never happen again. These cups that you see hanging above the kitchen sink are like the first thing I bought for my future kitchen before I moved in here. And they were kind of like the inspiration for my whole blue and white theme. I literally centered this whole thing on those cups. It's funny because my friend pointed out like the shape of them makes it look like they're not hollow, because it looks like they should be the other way. And she's like, why isn't there a hole in these cups? And I was like, it's on the other side. And I didn't know what she was talking about, but now I kind of see it. But anyway, I actually thrifted these cups from the Salvation Army, and yeah, they inspired my whole kitchen, and I love them, and I never drink out of them because they're decoration. But I still love them anyway. So I was so focused on trying to line up like these gray faux grout lines when I was putting up the peel and stick tile that I wasn't even taking note of the actual pattern And I thought that it would just be fine if I just slap them up there without even second guessing. You can see here the pattern matches up, but in other parts the pattern does not match up at all because I wasn't even paying attention to that. I was literally just focusing on lining up the grout lines. And so some of the little shapes are sideways. I'll show you when it pops up on the screen, but that's another little thing that's now gonna bother me. And if I hadn't taken out my revenge on the gap between the counter and the wall, I could have flipped them, but now they're like caulked onto the wall and I don't want to risk peeling them off and switching it, so whatever. So you can see what I'm doing right here. That pattern does not match. The bottom ones are flipped sideways and the other one. Do you see that? Oh my gosh. I'm like watching myself in horror. But it's fine. You know what? You live and you learn. It bothers me, but everyone who I've shown this tile to is like, I didn't even notice that. Like, it doesn't matter. So I'm trying to like let that roll off my back. Because it's really bothering me. Oh, and this piece right next to me, I'm not leaving like that. I'm not crazy. No, that was just resting there. And this is me sealing my fate with the caulking. But I just wanted to do this step not only as vengeance against the counter gap, but also because I thought it just looked like cleaner and a little bit more like polished to have like the caulking here. It just looked, I don't know, a little bit more finished. So that's why I did that, really. Also, these lights under the counters, when we first moved in, they weren't working, or like 2 of them were working, but one of them wasn't, and we got a new bulb and it still wasn't working. And I don't know how, but somehow this time around, my husband was like, you know what, let me just try again since you're redoing the kitchen. And he was able to get them to work. And that also, I think, really contributed to this. Like, I think that was honestly 90% of what makes this kitchen feel better and feel cozier is the cabinet underlighting. So I'm so happy that we were able to get that fixed. I don't know how he did it. And this is the finished product. I really love how it looks. It just looks so much more cozy here. And it like really, it ties everything together. It really ties in the whole blue and white thing and just makes the room look like more intentional. I don't know. We also were able to get a new kitchen window put in for a good price because it was considered energy saving, and the other one didn't open, our old one. And so if I was ever cooking something and it started to burn, we had to like open every window in the house, but there was nothing in the kitchen that would open, so it was like pointless. But now I can open the window while I'm cooking, and not only does it help for like, you know, the ventilation, but it just really adds to the ambiance just having an open kitchen window. I didn't even realize how much that was missing in my life until we got one that opened. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you stayed all the way to the end, I really appreciate you being here. I hope you have a great day, and goodbye.